Hi, boys and girls. We're going to read a story that my mom wrote just for you. It's called The Shoebox Fairy. A long time ago, when I was 8 or so, my aunt taught me and my brother and my 2 sisters how to make a house for a fairy. She told us that we needed to get an empty shoebox and helped us create a beautiful home with curtains and a bed for our fairy. We cut out windows that had cardboard shutters, and we made curtains for the inside. We cut up little strips of material to make curtains hang over the windows. We used an empty matchbox for her bed and made a pillow with tissue paper and put a little piece of material over the bed for a cover. We drew a rug on the floor and pictures on the walls. We cut a door out with scissors and left it attached so that it could open and close. We worked very carefully to make the home beautiful for our fairy. We wanted her to come and stay and live in the house that we had made for her. After the shoebox had been furnished and decorated, we put the home in our aunt's bedroom. Our aunt's room was very bright and breezy. It had 2 big windows that had sheer lace curtains that covered them. The sun shone bright in that room, and the smell of spring was so much in the air that day. I remember the breeze blowing through the curtains lightly, giving them life. It was so fresh, and the warmth of the sun shining through the window gave it an especially comfortable feeling. It was peaceful in that room that faced the backyard, and the trees blowing through the wind was especially appealing to a passing by fairy. We knew that there was a good chance our fairy would find the house that we made for her that afternoon. After what seemed several hours, we heard the window thump in the bedroom. Our aunt told us that it must be the fairy, and that she opened the window so that she could get away quickly should anyone try to catch her. We all ran in to see if it was our fairy, and to our surprise, when we looked inside the shoebox, we didn't see a fairy, but we saw lots of candy for my sisters, my brother, and myself. We were so excited about the candy, we were gobbling it up right away. Then we stopped and started to look around the room, because we came into the room right after we heard the noise. We thought maybe our beautiful, kind fairy may still be in the room hiding from us. We looked under the bed and on top of the curtains. We looked in the closet and behind every picture frame. We looked in the dresser drawers and behind every perfume bottle and near all the lampshades. We looked and looked and looked, but we didn't find our fairy. Disappointed but sweetly satisfied, we decided to leave the room so that she can enjoy her new home. We figured that if we gave her a chance, she'd let us see her after she was sure that we would do no harm to her. One thing was for sure, though, our fairy was happy with her new house, and she thanked us by giving us candy. We named our fairy that day. We called our fairy Linda, and we envisioned her to be the most beautiful in all the world. She had long wings that let her float through the room so that not one of us would see. She had golden blonde hair and big green eyes. Her face was oval-shaped, and her skin was like cream, the kind that Grandma used in her coffee. Her cheeks were the color of ripe peaches kissed by the sun. She was so very beautiful. She was tiny enough to stand in the palm of my hand. Her wings were long and silvery. I loved my fairy, who came with gifts of candy that she left in the shoebox house that my siblings and I had made for her. Every day we would make her house better and prettier. We always had little things to add to make it cozy. We added a thimble so she could get water with it, or use it as a trash can. We cut pieces of old towels so that she could cover at night and keep warm. We put dandelions on a little table that we made for her out of cardboard. We also made her a few chairs, just in case she had company over. My little sister Tony would make pretty pictures for the walls so that it looked like a real house. Kip, my little brother, would go outside and find some plants, usually grass, and put it around the outside of the house so that Linda would feel like she had some nature around her. Candy, the youngest of all four of us kids, liked to pretend she was going to catch Linda with a net that Mom got us for our goldfish bowl. I used to tell her that if she kept talking like that, Linda might stop coming because she'd be scared that we'd catch her and never let her free to fly outside or to visit her fairy family. I used to tell her that. She's a kid, and sometimes kids just don't listen too good. Anyway, Aunt Eddie, who would always call us when we weren't at her house and tell us that Linda had left something for us again, we'd tell her, Mom, please take us to get our presents from Linda because we were still too young to drive or even walk for that matter. Mom sometimes would take us right away. Sometimes Mom was busy, so we'd have to wait until dinner was cooked or the house was clean. I especially would get so excited that my tummy would hurt a lot. I couldn't wait to go to Aunt Eddie's and see what special surprise Linda brought us kids. One day our aunt had to move from her house. We begged Grandma not to move. We told her how important it was for Linda to have her house and that her house was in Grandma's house and Aunt Eddie's bedroom. We were so afraid that our poor fairy would not have a place to sleep or a place where she would be loved like she was loved by us. Grandma said that she had no choice and that they had to move. Grandma then did a wondrous thing for her 4 grandchildren. She sat at her office chair and began to compose a letter to Linda. Dear Linda the Fairy, I regret to inform you that we will be moving on December 24th, 1967. My grandchildren love you so and are concerned about your house that they made for you. Christmas is a terrible time to move, but I know that you will understand that we have no control over these circumstances. I wish to give you our new address and request that you come and stay at our new place of residence. It will be warm and cozy, and we all hope that you will join us in our new home. So, my mom put the address on Aunt Eddie's, 201 Hillview Avenue, Mayview Manor, Newcastle, Delaware. Your house will be in the bedroom on the 2nd floor, overlooking the azalea bush that is lightly dusted with snow. Please come join us on Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas. Sincerely, Grandma. We also called her Mama. We were so hopeful after Grandma had written the letter that we were sure that Linda would follow her lovely shoebox that we made especially for her. The night of the move came, and here it was Christmas Eve. We were sitting around the Christmas tree that was so beautifully decorated with angels, red bows, and tinsel. There was a warm fire blazing in the fireplace, and the smell of hot cocoa filled the air. Suddenly, a thump was heard, and it sounded like the window in the upstairs bedroom that overlooked the snow-covered azalea bush in the backyard. We all crept up the stairs quietly as mice and peeked inside the doorway. There on the dresser was a soft glow of light, and within that light stood the most beautiful sight I had ever seen. The fairy I saw was even more beautiful and more perfect than the one I had imagined. She was creamy white. Her cheeks were like peaches kissed by the sun. Her hair was golden like the sun and was down to her toes. Her wings were silvery and very long, but graceful like a hummingbird hovering over a blossom. Her lips were as red as cherry on an ice cream sundae. She wore little fuzzy slippers that kept her feet real warm, and her dress was silky satin with white fur trim, and her hands were covered with white furry mittens. She wore a warm furry coat. We noticed all these details and stared at her in wonderment. She had in front of her several little gifts that she placed beside her house for us kids. She turned towards us and looked right at us with a smile, and then she winked her big green eyes and smiled so happily that we all giggled with glee. She flapped her wings lightly and glided up towards the ceiling, and softly and gently floated out of the window. We ran over to the shoebox and picked up our treats, and they were the sweetest treats we'd ever had. We looked out the window, and over the snow and in the yard we saw a soft glow of light, and we knew that our fairy had found us already. We never saw her again after that Christmas Eve of 1967, but we will never forget the beauty of our very special fairy who came to live in the shoebox house that we made so long ago. I hope you enjoy that story, boys and girls. Mama wrote that just for you. Bye for now. I'll be back later.